it's Teacher Jenny
and Sophie.
and we are going to talk a little bit about, you want to show what we're going to, oh, Sophie's got a magic trick here. She is bringing out our awesome top secret bag.
That was really stuck on the ground.
And remember last time we brought out all the little things. This time we're going to bring out
The
paper.
It's bigger than my face. Look.
And yeah, it is bigger than your face. Don't wrinkle it though. We want to be nice because the paper gets expensive. So included in your top secret pack was pretty much all the paper I had left in my classroom. What's the drum roll for? For the paper? For the paper? Okay. So here's what I'm going to do, Sophie. I'm going to hand you a couple pieces of paper, and I want you to tell me what you think is the difference. Would you put the branch down? Thank you. That was a red mustache, by the way. Okay, so here's a piece of paper. I want you to touch it, and then tell me what it feels like. Like, just, you can touch it with your finger. Don't wrinkle it. Don't wrinkle it. You got to be gentle. So remember how Mommy just said that this was, like, expensive? So we need to treat it carefully.
It feels like paper.
Okay, but can you tell me, is it soft? Is it smooth? Is it rough? What is it?
Rough.
It's rough. Okay. Now I want you to hold up one of these other pieces of paper.
No, this is definitely rough and this is smooth.
Yeah, right? So now that changes your perspective. If you were to hold them up to the light, can you see through one of them better than the other one? What do you think?
Yep.
Yeah, one of them is more see-through than the other. So, Sophie, when you buy paper, especially art paper, it's actually sold by the weight. And what you want to do is you want to start with the type of project you're going to do. So this lighter piece of paper would be better for, what do you think?
Mom, we should tell them that what we're going to do. So, we're basically going to make this another video where we're basically making a castle with a nest in it with 4 hummingbirds or birds.
That's right. That's our next project.
We're cycling.
That's right. Can we focus on this one right now, though?
Yes.
Okay.
But I just wanted to tell you.
Okay. Yeah. So the lighter paper would be something you would use for drawing. And the reason why you would use it for drawing is because a pencil isn't as likely to catch all the bumps and look kind of different. Now, what do you think you would use this heavier paper for?
For watercolor
That's
or watercolor
right.
pencils.
That's right. So we would use the thicker paper for watercolor. And the reason for that...
And we use this paper for just paint.
That's right. So for the stick, we just painted. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the thicker paper because... Sophie, can it be my turn for a little bit?
Do you know paper is made out of trees?
That is.
It's a learning system.
Okay. So the paper, and Sophie, it's going to be my turn for a little bit now, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So the thicker the paper, then the more water it's going to hold. And so when I order paper, those of you that would like to do some more art projects online and maybe you're looking to figure out how do I order drawing paper that's nice, you want to look for the cheapest paper at the heaviest weight. So paper sold anywhere from like 15 weight, which would be really, really thin, all the way up to like a 80 or 90 weight. Okay. And so I usually buy like in the 40 to 90 range for weight for paper. And you can just go on Amazon and get it, or you can just go through the bag. I just wanted to make sure that you guys are aware that the different papers work better with different materials. So Sophie was talking about watercolor pencils.
I'm Batman.
Yeah. So Sophie was talking about watercolor pencils, and we're going to be using the ones that are just like what you have in your bag that we got from the teachers at Ventana. And we're going to do what's called a contour line drawing, Sophie. Can you put the pencils down?
I want to use this one.
So I went through my yard and I gathered up some things that are just blooming. And so this is going to be your assignment today, is to pick something that is just new in your garden. Okay, so I've got some branches
They
and
don't have a
leaves.
garden.
Well, you know what? We can take a walk to the park. Where might we find something that's growing that we could pick or grab from the ground?
Oh, I know. You could pick like flowers.
We could. That's right. So Mommy went in the backyard and I found these little pretty purple flowers. And so which one do you want to choose? I also grabbed this. I thought this was really cool. It's a weed.
I want to do this.
You want to do that one? Okay. So what you're going to do is we're going to do what's called a contour line drawing. And I don't know if you remember me talking about this before, Sophie, but what you want to do is with the contour line drawing, you're actually going to start with the outline of the shape. And I like to pretend that there's just a little bug that's walking along the outside edge of what it is that I am drawing. And you can kind of practice by just taking the end of your pencil and sketching it out really quickly first in the air. And then, you know, I noticed, Sophie, you were even just tracing it on the plant, which is really a great way to start. And so what you want to do is just place it in front of you and get it arranged how you like it, whether you're going to do a flower or a leaf.
If it's like tiny, maybe you could make it dry out and put it on paper.
Yeah, well, we're not going to actually trace it. What I want you to do is to practice what's called observational drawing. And I know that a lot of you that have taken years of my classes, we have definitely done lots of observational drawing, and then I know lots of the other teachers. Yeah, we do a lot of observational drawing. So it's really important that you practice, and remember that learning how to draw is really learning how to see. So just take your time and start with something really simple that has a super basic outline, and try not to trace it. So I'm going to just put this in a location where I have kind of just this big leaf that comes out. And I'm going to start, and I am just outlining where I see the shape coming and going. And this is just a sketch. So should we press hard with our pencil, Sophie?
No.
No. What should we be doing with our pencil?
Making it light, and sometimes if you like kind of trace it like little 2 times, then it looks like a shadow.
That's right. Yeah. And we're going to talk about when you look at something that is closer to you, the lines actually look less blurry and they're more in focus than the plant leaves that are further away. And this is going to be especially true for the mommies and the daddies that are helping us with our art projects this week, because as you get older, your eyes get more and more myopic. So they tend to get more and more so you cannot see this the way that you used to, which is why Mommy has to wear glasses full time now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she can wear contacts.
That's right.
Contacts
Okay.
are like glasses.
So what I did is I started just with a very light pencil drawing, and I'm not even actually sure that you're going to be able to see that. But our next step is then to take some kind of a black pen, and Sharpie works really well because it's not water soluble. You do have to just make sure if you're using a black pen, you can dip it in water really quick and just make sure that the ink doesn't bleed. Because if it does, that's going to be one that will not work with watercolor. And I am just going to outline. And you know what, Sophie? I looked at your drawing and that is lovely. Do you want to hold it up so everyone can see? Yeah, really nice contour line drawing.
I'm not done.
Yeah.
I'm making it like go like out like that way.
Yeah.
But I have to draw.
But you can
this
see,
way.
here's mine. I'm getting it partially outlined. Then I'm going to come along here and outline this other section. And those of you that did a lot of butterfly drawings, maybe you're in the waterfall room, we did a lot of observational drawing. So I know some of you are experts. You can probably help. And this is one of those projects that it's really nice to do with other people. So if you are lucky enough to not have to be at work right now, and you can grab a parent to come draw with you, it might be a really nice time to spend together with your family.
By the way, small plants will be harder than big plants to outline.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right, because it's much more detailed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and talk. Will you hand me that jar of the watercolor pencils?
Yes, I will.
So I have a whole bunch of different watercolor pencils. So I didn't get the same exact brand that
This one.
you need. That one, sure.
Yeah.
I didn't get the same exact brand that you do, so mine are going to look a little bit different, but that's okay. You can use whatever materials you've got.
You can also probably use this watercolor palette.
You could. That's right. So this is what Sophie's talking about right here. And if you have one of these and this is what you feel comfortable using, that would be great. You can also use colored pencils. So if you don't want to add water to it, that's fine. But when you look at, especially a plant like this, one of the things that we tend to do is we look at it and we go, oh, it's green. Here's my green. And we pick one shade of green. But really what you want to do is pick a variety of colors. So I'm going to pick some yellow. I'm going to pick some white. I'm going to pick like almost a black green. Because when you really start to look at things, you'll notice that there's actually multiple shades of green. There isn't just a plant that's all one shade of green. And the human eye tends to perceive a lot more color than we give it credit for. So if you look and see something that's grayscale, meaning it's black and white and shades of gray, the human eye perceives about 150 different shades of gray. When you take a photograph, a black and white photograph, do you know how many shades of gray you get in a black and white photograph?
No.
It's usually somewhere between 12 to 15. And so the more shades that you put into something, the more realistic it's going to look. And because we tend to look at something and classify it in our brain as, oh, that's just green, we pick one color and we color it in one color. But if you notice right here, Sophie, what are some of the other colors you see on this leaf?
I see darker green.
Yeah, there's
and brown.
Darker greens. Oh, you know what? You're right. I didn't even get out brown, and brown is a perfect color to add to here. So I'm going to grab a brown. And I like to sharpen my pencils before I use them. Once they're wet, they get a little bit soft, as they're supposed to, so you can move the color around. And you don't want to try and sharpen them when they're too wet, or you'll just sharpen away extra that you don't need to. Now there's two different ways, at least, to use colored pencils, the watercolor pencils. And I'm going to start with, again, looking at my leaf and really observing it and noticing that, again, just like we were talking about with color or with a contour line, that when you really look at something, that's when you're learning how to draw. Our eye tends to perceive things and then we classify it in our head and we say, oh, this is a leaf or this is a cloud. So a cloud, of course, looks like this and it's little cotton balls. But when we look at clouds, they don't really look like that. Oh my gosh, Sophie, that is gorgeous. Honey, that's really pretty.
Thanks.
Wow, you really worked hard on that. I can tell you were looking very closely. So I'm going to start with my lightest color, which is my yellow. And when I look at my leaf, the place I'm seeing the most yellow is kind of along this one outside edge that seems to be very new on the plant. Like I said, everything I was looking at out in my garden was just planted. Now, light colored things are going to appear as if they kind of recede away a little bit. So we can actually use the colors, Sophie, to make it look more realistic, not just from the shade standpoint, but from the color standpoint.
Sometimes people with watercolor like to get theirs in the wall.
That's so true.
And also, some people, if like the if the pen like gets mixed into watercolors, they wait until the watercolors dry and then outline them.
That's right. So Sophie is exactly true. And you can tell Sophie and I like to sit and do this once in a while, don't we? And this is one of my favorite materials to work with, my favorite media. And what she's talking about, so I'm actually using them right now as colored pencil. So I'm just shading in. I haven't added any water yet. You can see I've got my water here, and I'm going to grab a paintbrush and add some water.
But I like to dip it in the water and then color.
Yeah, and that's a great way to do it too. So that makes the pencil feel a little bit different, doesn't it? Yeah. So I'm going to come along, and here I am. I'm now on, I did a yellow, I did a green. Now that was kind of, I started with the lightest colors, and then I'm going to put the lighter colors here on these leaves that are in the background, and then I'm going to put the darkest one here in the front. So I'm just kind of adding some color to my leaf. So Sophie, have you been having fun being out in the garden?
Yep.
Yeah. What's been your favorite part of that?
I don't really know.
Don't really know. You want another color?
Black.
Yeah, of course. Okay, now I'm going to bring this darker color in and add kind of more where the veins in my leaf are. And you can see how it's kind of starting to take some shape here. And you're starting to really begin to see that texture that's created when we use multiple different shades and different colors as we go through and make it look more realistic. Oh, this one's nice and dark. That's gonna look really pretty. I might come back in with that one later, like you said, so use it wet.
Okay, I'm all done outlining my plan. You have,
Wow, Sophie.
I don't think you have to make it too big.
Nope. No, you can make it whatever size works for your paper. And
Sometimes people like to test out the colors
they do.
on the back.
Do you remember who used to test out his watercolors? Did we go and see the museum? So some of the artists at Ventana have learned about a watercolor artist named Tony Foster, and he has a museum here in Mountain View. And I will make sure in the post to put a link to some of his work. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a paintbrush. And Sophie has started coloring hers in.
With water. You can just
I'm just getting some little paint.
you can just dip in the tip of your brush. You don't need like dip in the whole thing.
And you know what I forgot? I completely forgot to bring us some paper towel. Which is like rule number 1. So don't do that. Remember, always paper towel.
But we have this paper.
But we have that
black.
paper. Yeah, that'll work. And hopefully you're noticing, Sophs, when you put water on this paper, is the water, what's it doing?
It's blending.
Yeah. Is it wrinkling the paper?
No.
Yeah, that's because it's that extra thickness and it has that weight to it.
Can I also borrow?
Yeah,
Brush?
absolutely. We've got lots of brushes too.
You can try to blend it in with the color with a paintbrush. You're doing it my way, the way I like to do it. Perfect.
Oh, that does look perfect.
I'm not
And
done
you can see, here's my leaf. And now I'm going to come in. You know what? You were right. It really does have some brown in it. And I did not add my brown in yet. I waited to do my darkest colors last. I'm going to add this dark green.
Come on, mix. Doo-doo.
And the best part is if you don't like what you did on your drawing, you know what you do?
You just use the back.
Well, that, or you add some water and it just kind of washes it around. That's what I like to do.
Aloha. It's nice to meet ya. That's the way I do hello. That.
Oh yeah, the brown adds like a lot of texture here to the stem too, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't really make my stem that wide because it's not that wide.
So there is my finished drawing. And do you remember where artists sign their name on paintings, Sophie?
Yeah.
Where do they sign? Do you remember?
They sign at the bottom.
At the bottom on the right-hand side, right? So I am going to put Jenny.
Oh,
on
sometimes
this.
they put on the top.
That's right.
Can I?
Yeah.
And you could always finish it the next day.
Yeah. I know. We should probably turn the video off.
Wait.
Do you want to share your... Yeah, put your name on it. And then do you want to share what you've got so far and we'll keep working on it? Yeah. So have fun. Just find something new and green in your space or on a walk. And go ahead and do some drawing. Do some contour line drawing. Do some observational drawing.
It's okay if you get out of the lines.
It's okay if you get out of the lines.
Because I got out of the lines a lot when I was mixing the brown.
Yeah. Did you know that another good way to clean that up is if Teacher Jenny had brought in a paper towel, you can just add some water on there and then blot it and pick it up. And sometimes that'll pick up the color. Did you know that? And you can even fix where you went out of the lines. That's the nice part about this paper. If we take a paper like this, and I get this paper, so this is that thinner paper, and one of the things you can see
is that it's wrinkling.
Is that it's wrinkling. So it doesn't hold up, whereas this paper, which is thicker and meant for watercolor, you can see it's holding up.
But you still can use water.
You could use that.
You can use like the watercolor on the palette
Mm-hmm.
for it, but like not really the watercolor pencil.
Yeah. Okay, so you're